Who says that your best years are behind you? Welcome to The Fulfilled Woman, a safe space dedicated to real conversations about midlife, purpose, faith, clarity, healing, and the true essence of what it means to flourish. I am your host, Lady Chinye, the Midlife Reset Queen. Here, we believe that fulfillment comes not from doing more, but from living a life that is authentic, whole, and present, irrespective of the season of life that you are currently navigating. So join me, let's navigate this journey together. For many women, the menopausal season can feel confusing, uncomfortable, overwhelming, and even isolating. Symptoms appear without warning: hot flushes, weight gain, mood swings, and all of that. But menopause is not a disease. It is a transition. I am joined today by Dr. Jackie Iketunye, the MD CEO of BFA Integrative Health, to throw some light on some of the misconceptions and myths about the menopause season. Welcome to The Fulfilled Woman, Dr.
Thank
Jackie.
You so
it's
much.
So great to
Thank
have
you
you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's nice being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
The big M. The big M, menopause. Why do so many women struggle through this transition? And what are some of the myths about menopause? What do we misunderstand about it?
Thank you so much. Like I tell people, I say sometimes the big M is beginning to sound like the big C to so many people. You know what the big C is?
What
Cancer.
Is it? Oh.
You know, and it shouldn't be. Menopause is not a disease. It's a transition, you know, from your reproductive years to your post-reproductive years. And the sad thing, or will I say the challenge, is that a lot of times people don't begin to factor that into the developmental stages. For instance, how many mothers discuss menopause with their children?
Exactly.
Nobody talks about it. Mothers talk to their children about menstruation, how to take care of themselves, the hygiene, and so on and so forth. But nobody is talking about menopause. Even in our healthcare system, there is no discussion about menopause, the challenges or the expectations. So a lot of women begin to see themselves as if, oh, is this the end of life? What exactly is happening with me? You know, especially where they don't understand that this is not the end of life. Okay, but the sad thing is that there are symptoms that come with menopause that can be quite scary.
Okay.
So that's why it's important for women to actually understand that you can avoid these symptoms ahead of time by being proactive, not waiting for it to just happen. And of course, how you handle the symptoms also depends on the outcome you get. So it's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a normal developmental transition.
So I've often wondered, Dr. Jackie, why do different women experience different symptoms? What's responsible for, you know, the different symptoms? So for instance, you talk about hot flushes. Somebody says, oh, I don't have hot flushes. Is there something some women are doing and something some women are not doing?
You know, what you need to understand, first of all, is that people's biochemistry differs.
Oh, okay.
Everybody, reacts to changes to their bodies in different ways. There are no hard and fast rules. Okay. Somebody might have hot flushes. The other person might have hormonal, serious hormonal imbalances that could manifest in another form of illness. So it's not that everybody must go through the same. And of course, a lot of women also, lifestyle plays a role in how your body handles these changes. Okay. Of course, I'm sure we're going to be looking at that in the course of the discussion. What are the things that women need to start doing before? You don't need to wait, because you see, these days, because of the kind of lifestyle we live, you see women in their 40s coming to tell you about menopause. I'm like, what's your business with that? You know, it shouldn't be.
So they are experiencing going through menopause at that age.
Yes,
is that what you're saying?
Yes, it's quite early, and I can tell you this is because of the lifestyle. There's a popular saying, you're what you eat. Our diets, we've changed our diet so badly that it's affecting our whole system. So, but you see, women can take charge of their lives. It's not a death sentence. You don't even need to, like, shut down your life because you are experiencing menopause. And like I said, if people understand what it is, they should actually be grateful that they're alive to get to that stage of life.
Yeah,
you understand? And of course, there's also the role of a supportive spouse.
Okay.
That also plays a major role because, if one does not have a supportive spouse, he may not understand what is going on. He will just say, this one, an old woman,
okay.
her own don't pass.
Yes. So that brings me to another question that plays in my mind, talking about the myths of menopause. So you hear some people saying, okay, there are some myths I want us to bust in this episode. So for instance, you hear some women just feel dry and old once it gets to menopause. So you hear things like, okay, I can no longer be sexually active when I'm menopausal. I can no longer experience an orgasm because I'm menopausal, because it comes with the thought that your hormones, your hormonal level, estrogen and all of that are all dry. So what are some of those myths that we want to dispel, that should be dispelled for that woman who is listening to this episode?
All those,
you're not too old, right?
Apart from that, like I said, it's a mindset.
Yes.
Okay, it's a mindset. You see a lot of women, they believe, once they get into that menopausal phase, there's no more sex for them. They can't enjoy sex anymore, and of course, this affects their relationship. In the home.
Mindset is already
the mindset. You understand? So we need to start removing that mindset that says that a woman who is in her menopausal phase of life shouldn't enjoy XYZ. But the reality is this: if people are proactive, okay, and understand that this is a new phase of, just like you have the morning of life, you have the afternoon, you have the evening, you have the night, none of this should be the end of life. You handle each stage with a totally different type of mindset. That, this is a transition. And the reality is this: I have a lot of women that, honestly, as they are supposed to be menopausal, they are more sexually active.
Wow.
Yes, they're more sexually active. That's why I said that's where a supportive spouse also comes in. And there are change of diets. There's the deficiencies that needs to be addressed, because those are some of the things that play out in this thing. A woman who is menopausal should no longer. And another thing I tell people is this: I have people who are in their 50s and they're trusting God for a child. You tell them to just go home like that. I said to some of them, it is called menopause. It's not stop.
Okay.
So, when you pause, like we're recording now, you can play pause. When you're ready, you press play, and it continues. So the same way, don't think that menopause is the end of life, especially for that woman out there who is not yet married at the age that society says you must be married, or who doesn't have a child at the age the society said you must have a child. There are women in their 50s, women in their 60s still trusting God for the fruit of the womb. Are you going to tell them so? For them, there's a lot of hope, because menopause or no menopause, by faith. I mean, I'm speaking.
It's a faith-based platform.
Yes, you press play. And how do you press play? There are things you need to do.
Let me understand this. Are you saying after menopause? So menopause is the stop of the period. Maybe I should have even asked what exactly.
Physical. Yes, that's what it is.
Of menopause.
Physical stopping.
Stop of the. So are you saying it can the woman can still have a child after that?
It's happening.
Oh wow.
Yes, that's why I said, you remember, like I said, these things have to do with the change in the society that we're in. Change in our diets, change in our lifestyle. You remember, like years back, you see women in their 60s still having children. It's in our generation that we have brought in all manner of Western stuff into our diet, that you now see ladies in their 40-something, 40s, discussing menopause. What's that? You see 9-year-olds, 8-year-olds menstruating, which shouldn't be in those days. So all these things are related to our lifestyle. Okay, let's go now to the integrative approach too, because we're talking about thriving through menopause and integrative approach, and I'm assuming that the integrative approach is all holistic, all encompassing. Yes.
So what does an integrative approach to thriving through menopause look like from your professional point of view?
Now, when you want to look at it integratively, you have to bring in the whole ensemble, the hormonal changes, because people think menopause is just about the hormonal imbalances. No, it's not just that alone. You have to look at the hormonal changes. How do you bring that necessary balance? You have to look at the stressors. What are the stresses involved? Like everybody is facing their own stress in one way or the other. How are you addressing that? You have to look at the lifestyle, the nutrient deficiencies, because the reality is this: as long as you are inhaling the same air that all of us are breathing, there must be deficiencies. The latest study tells us that we inhale over 100 chemicals on a daily basis. And if you don't know how to detoxify these chemicals, you're going to have problems later on you understand? Then, of course, you now look at your own work environment. What do you do? What are you living a life of purpose?
Are you fulfilled? What's your mindset?
What's your mindset? What exactly are you understand? What are you offering to the society? Because I tell people something. Everybody that God created, He created for a purpose.
Yeah.
So in those later days, a lot of people are living with regret because they feel, oh, what have I achieved? What have I achieved? But that's actually the time for some people to actually start. If they have lived all their lives raising children, now the children are all grown up.
The nest is empty,
and they now think, oh, there's nothing else to do. That's when they begin that downward decline. Right. But if at that point they realize that, okay, now I'm done with raising children, the children are in different places, pursuing different careers, you must identify that thing that God created you for. That's about the fulfillment we're talking about. And if you're busy the way you should, honestly, some of these things we're dealing with, like the depression that comes with menopause, because it shouldn't be. So those are the integrative.
So you're saying all of these aspects contribute to living, so it's kind of like healing from the inside to the outside.
Absolutely.
So that helps. And I guess it's not only just through the menopausal phase. When you have all of these things put together, every season of life, because I often say that our lives as women are in seasons and transitions.
Absolutely.
So whether you are in the child-rearing season, you are in the childbearing season, or you are menopausal season, or your second act, all of that, once you take that holistic view of life, you just thrive through it. It doesn't necessarily, but let me ask this, does it mean that challenges wouldn't come once you take an integrative approach to life? Are you saying that there will be but it makes it just easier to deal with?
No, challenges will always come.
Okay.
There's no way challenges will not come. As long as you're alive. But you see, number one, the Bible says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. If, for instance, you know that, okay, at so and so point, you may never tell when yours could set in. But if you understand that, okay, there are things I need to address about being proactive. For instance, I don't know why any woman will not be on certain antioxidants.
Wow. Take us through those something I've heard. Take us through those antioxidants.
It's a whole lot of, the price is too much to pay. Not to be on those, because
so what are those antioxidants?
In a normal situation, we have antioxidants that God has put in our system. However, what are those antioxidants supposed to do? They are supposed to mop up excess free radicals from the body.
Where do those free radicals come from?
We generate them. As you're breathing, you generate free radicals. Normal digestive processes, you're generating free radicals. When you exercise, you're generating free radicals. So, these are free radicals are not the enemy. But when they are in excess, that's when you begin to discuss things like inflammation and so on and so forth. Now, if you have a commensurate amount of antioxidants in your body, it mops up these free radicals. Okay? Avoiding, because when you have a lower amount of antioxidants, not enough to mop up the excess free radicals, it exposes you to oxidative stress. And oxidative stress, we've been told, is the hidden trigger to over 70 chronic diseases, including cancer. So when you have this understanding, even in the food you eat, you are intentional. Like I tell women a lot of things. I don't know why anybody would want to be eating 3 times a day. 2 full,
so how many times a day?
Some people,
Dr. Jackie,
yes,
you want us to start?
No, when you see some people eat, some women eat, it's
hilarious.
It's scary. Do you understand?
In the morning, once
it's scary.
We're knacking bread and tea, and then
so. There's I'm not doing an advert for them, but there are some multivitamins, without iron. There's a reason for that. Things like vitamin code. There are B complex, not the synthetic one you see everywhere, like life extension. I don't mind, but I'm
yeah,
just telling
yeah,
that the ones that we use, some of these things they should be a part of every woman's life, because the reality is this: no matter how much good food you eat, you cannot get all the antioxidants you need because of the way our foods are being grown. There's a lot of chemicals.
Cook and fry,
there's a lot of chemicals, a lot of fertilizers, a lot of pesticides.
Even while they're natural. Are you serious?
So what I always tell women to do is this: if there's no way on a daily basis you can have like living foods into your in your diet. For instance, okay, you want to eat rice, Abby? Okay, that rice, please make sure you have a bowl of vegetables, you know, with that rice. At least the vegetables you didn't cook them.
Yeah.
They are not cooked, they are raw.
Raw vegetables. What kind of vegetables would that be?
Lettuce, kale. Nigeria, we are blessed with so many, you know, garlic and all the rest of them. Make sure that these things are daily part of your diet. Then you now look at the supplements. I tell people, one lady told me yesterday that her doctor said, oh, she should stay away from supplements and so on and so forth. I told her, okay, there's what we call wait and watch strategy. Wait and watch strategy is when they tell you not to take things that will benefit you, knowing that at the end of the day, you're going to come down with XY disease. So you're waiting and he is watching. So I said, you need to thank God for technology. I mean, people can do research.
Yeah, you can go.
You understand? So you need to get some of these. For instance, the most common, I always tell women, and if you go on it, I can tell you upfront, you won't even know when the so-called menopause comes and when it goes. Like vitamin D3.
Vitamin D3.
Vitamin D3.
So we should take that daily.
Take it daily. You don't take it alone, because when you take vitamin D3 alone, it pulls calcium from the bones into the arteries. You don't need them there. So if you're taking vitamin D3, you must take it vitamin K2, because the K2 will take the calcium back to the bones where they are needed. So you have magnesium. There are different types of magnesium, but I tell people, please avoid magnesium oxide. It's the cheapest, but the body doesn't absorb it the way it should. The absorption rate is about 5 to 10%. So, but the magnesium that the body absorbs so well is magnesium glycinate. The absorption rate is so high. So you take that and you combine it with zinc. These four, even if you start with these four, one, it will correct a lot of hormonal issues. It will keep your immune system in tip-top shape. You know, without having to load you with so much. And the vitamin D3, you can't even take anything less than 10,000 IU. So when you say 10,000 IU, people think it's a lot. When you convert it to milligrams, you're looking at maybe like. Beauty of this simple protocol is that when you start, you find out that if you have been on hypertensive drugs, it will correct it. If you have been on statin drugs, it will correct it. Because I tell people, you cannot want to live well, live fulfilled when you are on so many prescription medications. So and each some of those things
have their own side effects.
So some of those things that tell you, oh, because you're 50, because you're in your late 40s, you're 60, you must be hypertensive, you must have your excess cholesterol. I tell people, no. Those are some of the myths. That's not how it is, because your body needs cholesterol.
So you need some level of cholesterol.
Your body needs. There's nothing like good.
Oh, really?
No. That's the confusion that has been created. They tell us the HDL is the good one, the LDL is the bad one. No. The liver manufactures cholesterol. And the body uses cholesterol to do so many. The covering of your brain is cholesterol. It protects the brain. So you find out that when you are placed on statin drugs, statin drugs, what it does is that it stops the liver's ability to produce cholesterol, which your body needs to make hormones, to make vitamin D, which your body needs to prevent you from things like Alzheimer's and all the rest of them. So if you're on those drugs, I tell people no. The LDL is because the LDL is the one that takes cholesterol from the liver to different parts of the body where it is needed. The HDL takes it from the body back to the liver. So, but this is a whole lot of
this. There are three symptoms. There are three specific symptoms that I know menopausal women, since we're talking about thriving women, are usually prone to. I know about that time the gut is slowing down, so there's weight gain. There's this weight gain around the midsection that I find out is common with a lot of women. They call it the midlife age spread. Then there's the knees, the ankles, the bones. That as well. So I want you to talk, and then the sweat, the internal heat the body. For a woman who is listening and has, is experiencing those kinds of symptoms, what would you say? What are just 1, 2, 3, or 4 things that, she could start doing from today? Some people say exercising, drink plenty of water. Also, what is the place of sleep, rest? Just an integrative, practical tips that woman can begin to do, who's struggling with those kinds of symptoms, specifically the bones, the weight gain, the internal heat that usually comes in this season of life.
Okay.
And I would like an integrative, natural things, natural remedies, and things like that.
Yes. In order not to leave our listeners hanging on the last discussion, they must also know that there is excess cholesterol. It's important, and that comes from the diet you eat. Okay. So if someone goes to the hospital and they said you have high cholesterol, the simple thing is remove the external sources, the dietary cholesterol.
Like what kinds of things?
The excess, no, not even the egg. The hydrogenated fats. This granite oil, all those seed oils that we use for frying and we think they are healthy, all those yellow shiny things in the supermarkets, they are not healthy, so you need to take them out, and over time, and if possible, you can even go on a vegetarian, for a period of and the whole thing will normalize. You don't need to go.
Really?
Yes,
those what kinds of meals would take care of the bones? What kinds of
It's a holistic diet. I try not to box people into a corner.
Okay.
Like what I do, I live an intermittent fasting life. What does that mean? I have a 2-hour window between 5 and 7 p.m. that I eat. So when I do that, the next eating is the next day, 5 to 7 p.m. That doesn't mean I'm starving. Yeah. Because in between, when I wake up in the morning, I can take there are so many. If you come to my house is, I can plug any leaf there and take as tea. The ones around us that we know. It's just that we can't show photographs, things like the so-called Ewakintola, things like Chanka, Piadera, Stonebreaker, there's catnip, there's, I tell people there are so many of them around us, even mango leaves.
Wow, you can take that as
soursop leaves,
as tea.
Pawpaw leaves.
So enlightening, really.
No, so you don't need to travel to America to go and. I'm talking about the ones around us, because part of the challenges of this menopause is hormonal imbalance. So there are foods you can bring in, like a wild yam. Yorubas call it esuru. No, esuru is a kind of yam with some, things around it. It's one of the yams that you can use to balance your hormones. They call it esuru. Google it, wild yam, wild, W-I-L-D, wild yam. These are things that women should incorporate into their diets. You can make it the same way you make your pounded yam, So it's not like being restrictive, but being intentional about the things you add. Then talking about sleep, you can't negotiate sleep out of this whole equation. So you need to find out what works for you. Like for me, because I'm running some academic programs and because of the time differences, sometimes at night I'm awake, but I have to make it up. That's why most times I can't do early morning appointments.
Okay.
Because
so find out what works for you. I like that person. I like that.
Yes.
It's a personalized
approach.
Personalize find it. What works for you.
I don't like all these general, you must sleep 8 hours, 15 hours, 100 hours, You need to find out what works for you, because we are all different personalities with different biochemistries. You understand? Then of course, rest, Rest is very important. Find out when can you find time to rest. Some people think rest is being lazy. No, it's not. You need to be intentional about rest. And when I talk about rest, I don't mean the rest you're resting, you're chatting the whole
from the mind, world, the body, the spirit must be as
and of course, if you're a Christian, you need to find time to meditate. These are things that keep you going. These
meditating
are things,
with the word of
meditating
God.
with the word of God, because you see, the reality is this: if you don't keep your life, spiritual life, you must prioritize life. I tell people. And the number one life you need to prioritize is your spiritual life. If you don't, there's a whole lot that can sweep the person off.
That's the foundation.
That's the foundation. You must prioritize it. It's
that's the vision.
Yes, it's not negotiable, So you look at the nutrient deficiencies, you look at the food you eat, you look at your sleep, You look at, of course,
your environment,
the environment,
your relationships. It's
your
all
relationships,
holistic.
you know,
We
relationships.
Don't want toxic people at the menopausal stage. You don't want toxic people.
Even at any stage in life, you don't need toxic people.
Especially, but especially, it can be especially stressful at the menopausal stage. Yeah.
So, and of course, I tell a lot of women, you know, you need to let go. You know, you see women maybe in their 50s, 60s, you know, they've been married for so long. They are carrying burdens of things that happened years back in the marriage, holding on to it, and it's affecting them. And you tell them to let go. Some will tell you over their dead body. And that is one thing I need to encourage women. Nothing like over your dead body, because the reality is that the woman could die. The same man you're getting angry with will live, give his life to Christ. And and God says he will forgive abundantly. That is God. He said he will forgive abundantly. So if the man goes before God and repents, he will forgive him abundantly. Meanwhile, the woman is gone.
There's a lot, there's so much to unpack. Unfortunately, our time is up. But here's what I would like you to do, to speak to that woman who's listening to us, you know, who's really struggling and feels really, really, you know, overwhelmed in this season of life. She's in the midlife season of life. She's going through menopause. She's going through stress. What is that one thing that you would recommend to her to do today, you know, so that she can begin her journey from moving from surviving to thriving?
Number one, prioritize life. Number two, have people around you that you can relate with, okay? Because if someone is in a toxic relationship at home, you must have people that you can say, oh, this is somebody I can pray with. This is somebody that can encourage me when I'm going through this. A lot of women live lives alone. Alone is not that they're living alone, but they are actually lonely. So you must try and build that circle of your Peter, James, and John, you know, your Peter, James, and John, you know, have that circle. It comes in handy.
The ladies in your kitchen table.
You understand?
Your inner circle.
You know, so you must make sure you have them, you know, as you go through this. But like I said, menopause is not the end of life. It's just a developmental transition. And there's a lot around you that you can use to keep yourself
from the other
and move on as if nothing happened.
Yeah,
that's what it should be.
Menopause is not an ending. It is an invitation to care for our bodies more intentionally and more compassionately. To every woman listening, remember, your body is not failing you. It is communicating with you. And with the right knowledge, support, and guidance, this season can be one of renewed strength, clarity, and balance. Menopause does not need to diminish your life. It can deepen it. It can enrich it. It can be a truly empowering season. And if you're willing to listen, learn, and respond with wisdom. Until next time, remember, fulfillment is built when we honor our bodies, steward our health, and choose wholeness at every stage of life. Thank you so much, Dr. Jackie, for coming to enlighten us and empower us. And thank you for being an amazing guest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
and
so
God
much.
bless you.
You too.